You ever just like totally reorganize your workspace?
Yeah.
Get everything just so it's like weirdly satisfying, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's kind of what we're doing today, but for servers, we're diving deep into this whole world of Docker, Proxmox, and VMs, and how they all work together to make your server setup, well, awesome. And we're not going to bore you with the basics here.
Like, we know you guys get that stuff.
This is about understanding why this specific combo is so powerful, whether you're, a hardcore sysadmin or just want a killer dev environment. So let's break it down. We've got Docker. Everyone knows Docker, right? Packages up your apps and all their little quirks into these neat little containers. Make sure they run smoothly anywhere. It's huge for developers.
Yeah, Docker's amazing. But then you bring in Proxmox,
Right.
and that's when you really see the magic happen.
It's like the conductor of the server orchestra or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's that central control panel,
Yeah.
manages all those Docker containers plus those workhorse virtual machines,
Yeah.
all from one place. It's great.
So you've got this bird's eye view of your whole server ecosystem, but we can't forget the VMs themselves, right? It's like slicing up your server's power to run multiple operating systems at once. Need a dedicated space for a project? Spin up a VM.
It's so flexible.
Want to try out a new OS without messing with your main setup? VM. So these tools are all amazing on their own, but together, it's like a whole other level. We've talked about using resources more efficiently, but and I don't know if you agree with this. It seems like it's more than that.
Oh, for sure. It's not just using less. It's about using them smarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Docker's super lightweight.
Yeah.
It shares the host operating system's kernel, so you're not wasting anything.
Right.
So you build more performance, you save money, deployments are faster. It makes sense,
Totally. And then Proxmox on top of all that, managing your servers becomes, well, almost easy.
Right. No more juggling a million different tools and interfaces.
It's streamlined. It just makes sense.
Yeah. And don't forget about the security and isolation you get with this setup.
Oh, right.
With Docker, each container is its own little world. One bad app won't crash the whole system.
That's huge.
And then Proxmox, you've got those robust security features, right? Role-based access control, resource management. It's another layer of protection.
So it's secure, it's efficient, it makes sense. So we've talked about why this combo is so cool, right? But how do you actually make it happen? Like, how do you actually build this server dream team,
Honestly, it's not as hard as you might think.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about Proxmox, actually. It makes this whole server virtualization thing pretty user-friendly.
Okay, so walk us through it. What are the big steps? How do you bring this whole symphony of server tools to life?
Okay, so imagine you're building this like super organized workshop, right?
Yeah.
Step one is the foundation. You got to install Proxmox on your server.
Got it.
And the cool thing is you don't need some crazy powerful machine. Even a decent server can run a pretty capable Proxmox setup.
And Proxmox itself it's open source, right?
Yeah, totally free.
So no big licensing fees.
Exactly. You just download it from their website. Tons of documentation and stuff too. Lots of community support.
Nice.
Once you've got Proxmox up and running, then the real fun begins.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Time to build the reams at our server workshop, We're talking about virtual machines.
Okay, so this is where we start, like dividing up the server's resources, giving each project, each application its own little space to do its thing.
Exactly. You got it. And with Proxmox, you can easily spin up VMs running all sorts of operating systems like Ubuntu for your web server, Debian if you're more of a database person, even Windows if you really need it.
Wow, so it's like super flexible.
Oh, yeah. Incredibly flexible.
Okay, so we've got our foundation, our VMs are like humming along. What's the next instrument in our little server symphony?
Time to bring in the Docker. So we're going to want to install Docker on any of those VMs where we want to use containers. Think of it like setting up these workbenches. Each one is ready to go for a specific app of service.
I love this analogy. It's like you've got the whole workshop, right? That's your server. Then you've got the individual rooms, the VMs, and now inside each room, you've got these like focused workbenches, the Docker container.
Exactly. That's a great way to think about it. And the beauty of Docker is it takes those apps and bundles them up. All the dependencies, everything they need to run, it's all right there. So no matter where you deploy that container, it just works.
So we're talking consistency, portability, if it works on your computer, it'll work on the server, guaranteed.
Pretty much, yeah. It's amazing. And deploying container it's surprisingly easy, actually.
Oh, yeah.
There's this place called Docker Hub, right? They got pre-built images for like tons of popular applications. Or you can create your own custom images,
Cool.
whatever you need.
Okay, so our containers are deployed. We're almost there, right?
Sure.
What's the final act in our little setup symphony? How do we keep everything running smoothly?
Well, that's where Proxmox really shines, is the conductor.
Ah.
You've got that central control panel. You can monitor everything like resource usage.
Mm.
You can start and stop containers, VMs, manage network settings, even create backups if you need to.
Wow.
All from one place. It's great.
It's really amazing, though, when you think about it. Like, we've taken this thing that could be so messy, all these servers, all these apps, but with the right tools, like, boom, order out of chaos.
Right. Like organizing a workshop.
Yeah.
Everything has its place.
Exactly. And it's not just about being tidy either. This setup, it gives you some serious advantages.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've talked about efficiency, using resources smarter, keeping things secure, managing it all without pulling your hair out.
Yeah, it simplifies everything.
But it's bigger than that too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like this setup, this Docker, Proxmox, VM thing, it's giving more people access to this really powerful tech.
It's kind of democratizing server infrastructure, which is cool.
Totally. Like, it used to be that you needed, a huge company, a ton of resources just to have a setup like this. But now, smaller businesses, developers, even individuals can have that same power.
Yeah, and it's exciting, because it makes you wonder, like, what will people create with these tools?
That's the big question, right? We've removed those barriers to entry, and now it's like the only limit is, well, your imagination, really?
Exactly.
So, just thinking out loud here, if you could build anything with this setup, Docker, Proxmox, VMs, all working together, what would it be?
That's a great question.
Right. Makes you think.
It really does. And I think, honestly, that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. The tools are out there. They're more powerful than ever, and they're more accessible than ever.
So the real question is, what will you create? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time.